All right, I think we're going to go ahead and start up. We got plenty of people joining every second here. I think that's about time. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the second NAAC online meetup. I'm going to be the host today. I'm your host, Gabe Hall Rodriguez. And we have a couple of things to do today, but our primary reason to be here is because we'd like to meet, listen to, and ask some questions to our featured performer, who is Jamie Maschler. Before we start, I want to let everybody know that I am videoing this meeting, recording this meeting, but I've turned off everybody's video so that way shouldn't be any kind of issue if anybody doesn't want to be videoed. Other thing is, if you have any, if you do have some questions or there's concerns or you're not sure how to make your platform work, Dallas is going to be managing the chat, so feel free to message there. And all right, I don't know if I have anything else to say before we get started. Dallas, would you like to add anything? I guess I should run down the meeting real quick, the agenda. We'll be interviewing Jamie for about an hour, and then we'll have the last 15 minutes to give you some NAAC program updates, specifically the education committee and the performance committee as well. So stick around for that. That would be a chance, I think, where we'll probably open up the video. I'm not totally sure. Dallas, you have anything to add, or should I just go ahead and introduce Jamie?
I think.
All right. Okay. Fantastic. Our guest artist today is Jamie Maschler, originally from Colorado Springs area, right, Jamie?
Mm-hmm.
So Jamie started playing accordion at the age of 4. She's a lead accordionist for the band Encanto, which is one of Seattle's only Brazilian forró groups, or Seattle's only Brazilian forró group. They have a new album, Solta por Jerry, and a lot of originals and some reimagined Brazilian music. Jamie's played all over the world, including Santa Lucia, Canada, Brazil, Mexico. She's played with the Seattle Symphony, the Port Angeles Symphony, Lake Union Orchestra, and the Pueblo Symphony. She's a touring artist and has gone to Alaska with the performance group Letters Aloud. And has had music aired on the radio in Seattle, Austin, Brazil, Canada. Featured performer and presented workshops as well at some of the accordion conventions across the country. You may have seen her giving workshops on stylized Brazilian and tango music in Leavenworth, also at the National Accordion Association, the Accordion Teachers Guild, Port Townsend Accordion Festival, Seattle Flute Society, and will be featured this summer at the Fairbanks Summer Arts Festival in Alaska. So I'd like to just say thank you for being with us today, Jamie. We have a whole bunch of stuff to chat about, and I think we'll definitely get to that. But I think the best way to start our conversation is just by having you play a little something for us. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it.
So this song is a song that a friend of mine in sorry, that was weird. A friend of mine in Rio wrote. He's an accordion player. His name is Marcello Calde, and it's called Lembrei de Ceara, and it's like it's a forró tune. And Ceara is the place where forró originates in the northeastern part of Brazil. So I'm gonna go ahead and sing this.
One.
All right. You can't hear everybody else clapping, but they're probably they're clapping out there too. Fantastic. So, that was a great tune. I'm not gonna I have a bone to pick with you because I think Faho started in Pernambuco, but we're not gonna go there. I don't know if Faho started in Ceara or not.
It totally did.
Okay, I won't. I won't start that. That turf war. Okay. So we have a few questions. And I'm trying to pull them up here. There we go. So I'd like to just start off with some questions about your origins, and I know that you've been playing accordion for a really long time. What were you drawn to the accordion? Was it your parents? What drew you to this instrument initially? And so what was it? How did it work out?
Yeah. So it was actually a door-to-door salesman, and he was working with this company called Young Musicians of America, and they did accordion and piano lessons. And he had this accordion with him, and it was my size. I was young, and it was like a little 12-bass accordion, and it was royal blue, and it was gorgeous, and I loved it. And I picked it up and started playing it, and I've been playing ever since. My family didn't really play accordion. I found out later in life, just recently, that my grandmother used to play accordion when she was a kid, but she didn't stick with it. But she's a musician too. She plays piano and teaches piano in Arizona.
What about the accordion do you still love? What is it? What keeps you playing the accordion?
I guess it's just that I really like it. I like that you can feel it and it's on your body and it's breath. You can use your lungs. That you can accompany yourself. That's been really important too. I have a lot of friends who play flute or violin and have trouble doing solo gigs because they can't accompany themselves, so they always have to be playing with somebody else. I like the variety of genres that you can play, from Italian and Brazilian, French, whatever. You can play anything on the accordion, and that kind of keeps me attracted to it too, because, the way I kind of work is like I dive into one genre and then try and learn everything I can about that genre, and then typically I just move on to the next one, and it just seems like there's an endless supply of information out there.
Absolutely. It's everywhere. The accordion is everywhere.
It is.
So what about lessons? What was your what were your? This is a question I have to say. I have to give credit to Brian Berlin because Brian Berlin had a bunch of fantastic questions that were kind of all that really worked out. So Brian, thank you for all your questions. I'm going to ask most of them, and this is one of them. Could you talk a little bit about your earliest lessons? How were you taught? How'd that go down?
Yeah. So I had two teachers growing up. Their husband and wife, Kim and Dan Christian, and they still live in Colorado Springs and work at Young Musicians of America, the same company that I started at when I was little. It's actually coming full circle, and they're going to be in Leavenworth this year presenting, which is kind of cool.
I'll be there.
Yeah. So I would take an hour with Kim, and then I'd take an hour with Dan. And Kim was like a lot of technique and Hannon and scales, all that kind of stuff. And then Dan was more of the, just throw out the rules a little bit, and just play what you feel and play what you want to be playing. And I did that for like 16 years. I took lessons with him every week. And, I think my mom always thought that I would grow out of it. And, I never complained about lessons and I never wanted to skip it. I always was excited to go and, continued to do that.
And so you felt like that was like they were effective teachers for you, like everything seemed to work well for you, especially having the two teachers like you talked about?
Yeah, I think it's really important to get different perspectives of, and the more that I learn about music, teachers are wonderful and everybody has something to teach you. Even if they're not accordion players, taking a lesson from, bass player or trumpet player, especially on the accordion when you can like separate those, orchestrally. And you can play a bass line and you like, how would a trumpet play this line? And how would a violinist play this line? Or, and that's pretty cool. I wished that I would have played with more people when I was younger. I didn't start improvising until I moved to Seattle and started studying with Jovino Santos Neto. And I was about 18, and that's the only thing that I kind of wish I would have been able to, get a start on earlier, because that's also another lifelong pursuit.
Absolutely. I want to have you play again, but I do want to ask one more question. So, what are there any like special performances or moments that stand out for you in your memory that really like kind of lit you up and inspired you, and why? What were those? What were so special about those performances? The things that kind of kept you going as a player, kept you inspired and motivated?
Yeah, I got a couple of them. So when I was 15, I played with my first symphony. I played with the Pueblo Symphony in Colorado, and we played Arrivederci Roma, and it was really cute. But I remember like driving there, and I was kind of nervous, and because it was like my first time playing a symphony, and it was a blizzard in Colorado, like completely white out. And I'm driving with my brother, and we got there safe, thankfully. And then we get there, and it was like kind of hectic. And then there was a vocalist there, and he was talking to me backstage, and he was like doing this meditative practice with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then we got on stage, and it went really great, and that was kind of inspiring. I was like, oh god, I want to do this more. Definitely want to do that more. And then when I was first moved out here, I was probably 19, and I had started playing with this guitar player, Harold Belskis, and he does like flamenco-y kind of guitar. And I remember when we got our first regular gig at a wine bar, when you're 19 and in college and have no money. That's a really big deal to have like a steady income. And I remember the first night we played, and it was awesome. It went really well, and I was like, yeah, I can be a professional musician. Definitely think that this could work. So
I dig it. I think that's great. I think everybody's ready to hear you play some more.
Okay, cool. I think this song I'm gonna do next
Oh, Jamie, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Can you do me a quick favor? It sounds like the gain is a little bit high on your microphone. Could you turn the gain down a little bit? I want to make sure everybody hears you without in the best way possible.
Okay. Sorry, everybody.
No, I think it's okay. You don't have to get too crazy with it, just a bit.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, it's better.
Does it need to go down more?
I'm not sure, but I think it's okay.
We're putting out a poll. Putting out a poll. Who thinks it should go down?
I think it just has to do with the internet. I don't think it's anything. I think the gain is fine.
Okay. Okay. So this next song. Ooh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this next song is called Semente, and it's by this band called Snarky Puppy, and I love them. They're based out of New York, and they've got a rotating cast of musicians, and their MO is kind of where they like go into the studio and they do live recordings of songs from kind of all over the world with like a heavy Brazilian influence. And the song is off their newest record called Culture Volta. And, oh yeah, and they're playing at Upstream Music Festival this weekend in Seattle. And I'm playing right after them, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, so the song's called Semente, and it's arranged for like an entire orchestra and everything. So I made this arrangement for solo accordion. So
Excellent.
it sounds cool, but yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. That was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really great that you're gonna get to see them too and play a little before them.
I'm hoping to play with them.
I was gonna say you gotta get up there and hey, I'm sure it'll happen. You know, you're good at making friends. Can you talk about the music that you enjoy listening to? You know, is this and is it the stuff that you like to play? Yeah.
What was the first part of the question? Sorry.
Can you talk about the music that you like to listen to? I mean, is it similar or is it different than the music that you like to play on your own?
I mean, I listen to a little bit of everything. As I'm sure most people listen to a little bit of everything too. You know, I like Led Zeppelin. I like jazz. Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. I listen to those a lot. I've got a lot of old records that I love listening to. I listen to a lot of Brazilian music. I listen to a lot of forró. So I try and my challenge is to try and learn everything on the accordion, and not everything works super well on the accordion. But it's still really good to practice your ears and I've tried to get into a little bit more singing lately, which is a new instrument in itself, and it's this huge process of learning how to sing too. But it's something that I would like to get into. And, I listen to a lot of I guess it's like pop stuff, like Fiona Apple and Alanis Morissette, of course, Macy Gray. Yeah, and try and learn that stuff, even if it's not like to learn to play on a concert, just to kind of see what it sounds like on the instrument.
Can you tell me again the name of that Snarky puppy tune? Somebody was just asking on the chat. Also, I think I need to mute somebody. Sounds like we have a question from Judy Mitchell in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and she asked, in trying to get gigs, it's difficult to get past the stigma of an accordion as just a polka machine, perceived, it seems, as loud, brash, annoying instrument. How does one get a foot in the door when this seems to be the perception? Do you have some insight in that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always going to be haters. That's kind of the way life works. What I try and do is I try and play as much as possible. I go to jam sessions around town and I play with as many people as possible in different genres, hip hop, trad jazz, gypsy jazz, and just try and play with everybody to show them that my favorite compliment is I didn't know. Oh, hello, me.
There we go.
Yeah, that's better. Oh, that's distracting. Okay. Yeah, so just playing as much as possible. My favorite compliment is when people come up to me and they're like, wow, I didn't know the accordion could sound like that. And then, then they go tell their friends, or, somebody's having, an event at a wine bar, and they're like, oh, I saw this accordion player. And then I think it's coming out of the polka stigma a little bit, though. There's a lot of people who think of it in terms of French and Italian, and that's really romantic, and people really like those styles of music. And so I think it hits a generation of the polka machine. There's nothing wrong with polka, but I think that it is coming out of that stigma of you have to the accordion. It's just for polka. But there are still people who don't like it and will never like it, and that's just something that you just have to brush off your shoulder and say, okay, that's fine.
Sounds like it's just about exposure, just getting people to see what the accordion can do.
It's just about playing as much as possible, yeah.
Okay. I want to keep moving along. We got plenty of questions, but could you play something else for us?
Sure. Okay. I'm going to sing a song in Portuguese. Gabe, don't make fun of me, okay?
Never.
This is a really sweet song that I heard Mestrinho play, and this is kind of the arrangement that he does of it, and it's called Deixa, Apaixonar. Okay, here we go. Seus olhos estão vendo uma coisa que eu não posso te ensinar. Fala, menina, fala, eu quero te amar. Fala, menina, fala, deixa-me apaixonar. Seus olhos estão vendo uma coisa que eu não posso te ensinar. Fala, menina, fala, eu quero te amar. Fala, menina, fala, deixa-me apaixonar. Seus olhos espelham, titana de paixão, parece uma estrada, uma noite de te ver. Olhos bonitos como este, vem na minha direção. Fala, menina, fala, eu quero te amar. Fala, menina, fala, deixa-me olhos bonitos como este, vem na minha direção. Fala, menina, fala, eu quero te amar. Fala, menina, fala, deixa-me Okay, I can't hear you.
I got it. I was muting myself while you were playing just to not get anybody, not to distract anybody.
Cool.
Great tune.
It's so sweet. It's so sweet.
Yeah, it's great. Mestrinho, of course. I think message just in the chat is a Brazilian accordionist, right? Played with Gilberto Gil, right? Gilberto Gil's accordion player for a little while, and I know he also played younger. When he was younger, he played with Dominguinhos too.
Yeah,
he did a little bit of work with him. So he studied with the masters. If anybody out there speaks Portuguese, Mestrinho means little master, Mestrinho. Sort of a humble brag. So somebody asked, how did you learn to sing Portuguese?
Well, I went to Brazil, I think that was like 4 years ago, to study at a music a music festival, the festival in Vernu, and because I was taking lessons with Jovino, who is Brazilian, and he was the one who kind of showed me forró music in the first place. And for all the accordion players, forró is all about the accordion, and there's so much repertoire out there. It's really cool, and it's really fun music. And I had never heard of it before I met Jovino, and then he kind of started getting me interested in it. And then he told me about this festival happening in Brazil. So I went down there, and I didn't know any Portuguese, and it was really hard, and I struggled a lot because we're in this small town called Domingos Martins, which is in the state of Espírito Santo, which is the state above Rio. And there was, nobody that spoke English, and it was a lot of culture shock. So I came back, and I was like, I need to start learning Portuguese. And then I met this woman here in Seattle. Her name is Norma, and she wanted to learn accordion, and she's from Bahia. She's from Salvador. And she offered to trade accordion lessons for Portuguese lessons. And we started, and what I really wanted to do was learn how to sing in Portuguese. And, it was a good way to kind of start learning how to speak in Portuguese is by learning the songs. And yeah, that's where I started. I'm still totally not any fluent at all. And sometimes I don't really know what I'm saying. There's a funny moment when I was when I went to Brazil the second time. I was singing the song Xoxi das Meninas, and I said dentist instead of doctor, and the person I was playing for just cracked up because he thought it was hilarious, and I didn't even know I said the wrong word. So I still gotta start. I still gotta learn more. I still gotta keep doing that.
The barter system, yeah, trading accordion for singing and language lessons. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I also traded accordion lessons for massage therapy too.
I got to get into that. I gotta find some way to better myself that way.
Self-care. Self-care is so important. Self-care.
Yeah, I was gonna ask some practice and some practice and education stuff, but now that we're talking about self-care, I'll save that for the next one. Okay. Jeff Nelson, he wanted to know what advice and or tips can you give accordionists with back trouble, talking about self-care. There we go.
Yeah, so it's been 2 years now. 2 years ago, I was going on tour, and I was on tour for probably 2-3 months straight, playing every night. And I usually stand when I play, and I stand with the bands that I play in, and that's kind of what I like to do, and how I feel like I get the best sound from the instrument is by standing. And it destroyed my back, and I came home, and I threw my back out, and I couldn't even walk, and it sucked. And I realized that I needed to, start doing something self-care and figure out what I was doing wrong. And so I actually went to go see a physical therapist, and he had me bring my accordion in and play and show him how I do it. And he gave me specific exercises to do to build core muscles, build strength. And that's really just what it's all about. If you're playing, it's just about strength, and how do you strengthen your core outside of playing the accordion so that when you do play, you don't actually injure yourself.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's a great answer. It's just a heavy instrument, and you got to be conscious, about that. Speaking about physical stuff, this is another Brian Berlin question here. What are some physiological aspects of accordion playing? Brian is feeding all the questions right now. It's great.
Brian, you rock.
What are some physiological aspects of accordion playing that are unique to women? And can you describe how you've dealt with these personally with your female students, like instrument size, weight, hand size, body shapes, upper body strength, etc.?
Well, I kind of always don't like that question. And even with the sizing of accordions, a lot of times people will refer to it like a female accordion or a male size accordion or a female size accordion, but it's completely arbitrary. It totally doesn't matter, because there's short men and there's tall women, so that totally is not a thing. It's really just about what you feel comfortable with, you know. I used to play a Giulietti 115. It's a non-tone chambered accordion, and I really loved the sound of it, but it was 28 pounds. And it was an 18-inch keyboard, but it was just absolutely too heavy for me, and I would get done and I would be destroyed the next day after the gig. I couldn't handle the weight while standing. I was also wearing heels when I would play at that point too, which that's the reason why I always play barefoot now. If you see me play and I don't have shoes on, it's because I ruined my back wearing heels. And, talk about lady problems. Yeah, so yeah, it's just about finding an accordion that's comfortable for you. What I play now is the Pitose Leggera. It's the 18-inch model, so it's got the smaller keyboard on it because I have, little hands. And it weighs 23 pounds, and the 5 pounds makes all the difference in the world. So, there's some things that I have against every accordion. There's no perfect accordion, I wish I had, sweeter musette on it. And there's some, reed stuff that I wish was different, but for the most part, it does everything that I need it to do, and I can carry it with me, and it's not that heavy.
And it's 120 bass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like the answer is just, it's like whatever fits you, whatever makes sense for that particular player, woman, or not.
Also the gig too. I have a little accordion that's a 15-inch keyboard, so it's got the really small keys. But that one's really lightweight. It only weighs like 13 pounds, and so yeah, it's nice. It's my camping accordion. I bring it with me when I know there's going to be whiskey involved. Yeah, so, and then, for even like really long strolling gigs that I have, and I know that the sound is it's more just the aesthetic and the ambiance versus, sounding, amazing on a really nice accordion, to just bring the smaller, lighter weight one.
Awesome.
Even though it doesn't fit my hands.
The right accordion for the right gig and the right person. Can you play again for us?
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna play a tango now. It's my favorite tango, and I kind of don't play it exactly how it's written, but I like this way better. It's called Milonga de mis Amores, and so for those of you that don't know, there's 3 different types of tango. There's tango, which is just like straight 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's the waltz, which is the waltz 1, 2, 3, and then the milonga, which is something like this. And there's actually different tango dance moves to each specific style of music. That's really cool. And milonga is my favorite. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Whose arrangement is that? I mean, I know you said it's not exactly how it is, but you play a little bit differently. But whose original one is that?
I forget.
Okay.
I can look it up.
We'll figure it out
right now.
I think we have other pressing issues. We have all kinds of stuff to talk about. You know.
Milonga de mis amores. Okay.
Milonga de mis amores. If somebody's got it, post it in the chat. We can share it with everybody. It'd be great. We have another question, and that is it difficult to transition between a full-sized and then a smaller accordion with narrow keys? Mm-hmm. Is that difficult to do? Do a lot of people do that? I don't. I can't handle that, but I don't know. I'm not. Everybody's different. But what do you think?
Yeah, it's not fun sometimes. The reason why I do that, play on a smaller keyboard, because the right thing to do is just get an accordion with less keys on it. And then it's smaller and lighter weight, and then perfect for strolling gigs. But I really just can't give up the keyboard. Like I need all of the notes all the time. I just need all the notes all the time. And so yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to, and I have to really think about it and be conscious and adjust my hands. But I've been playing on different size keyboards my whole life, and I've had multiple accordions that were different sizes, and so I like spatially I can it doesn't really matter how big the keyboard is. I also do a lot of the demos at the accordion shop, so I have a lot of practice on different size keyboards. Playing something bigger is usually more challenging than playing something smaller for me personally. Something with like an extended keyboard on it. It's just gigantic. And most of the time I feel like I'm hugging the accordion and I'm in control and in charge. But the ones with the extended keyboards, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so big. It's in control of me.
I've seen those many times. I haven't gotten to play one, but they look like a real handful.
Yeah, Jorgen Sendequist, he's got a 45 key quint system cathedral accordion with converter freebass on the inside of it, and the thing is massive.
And it weighs like 50 pounds.
It's so big. It's so big. Yeah, it's so big that he can't take it on an airplane, and he has to actually take apart the left hand of the instrument, and he takes that on the plane with him because it's more fragile than the right hand, and then he just checks the right hand.
Wow.
It's a crazy accordion.
I want to ask you some questions about practicing, about playing. What do you do? Can you talk about how you practice? Do you have a routine? Do you warm up? Do you do technical stuff? Are you at the point where you're beyond that? What do you do to stay in shape?
Yeah, I don't think that anybody's ever beyond practicing technique and scales and, harmony and all that stuff. It's always something that you can do. It's overwhelming how much you can do and how many different ways you can practice. I used to be a lot more diligent about it. When I was growing up, I was practicing. I was doing lots of competitions and playing classical music. and I would practice, 6 to 8 hours a day. And at that point, I was playing scales and Hanon and, just doing all that kind of stuff. And now, I don't know, I guess the focus is a little bit different now. I'm kind of going through, I previewed one of the questions that Brian asked, so I feel like I'm kind of going into that segue a little bit, but
do it.
Going through a change right now of like, oh gosh, okay, well, what do I want to be playing? What's next? What do I want to do with the accordion? And I was saying earlier in the interview that I like diving into certain styles and kind of just learning everything that I can about it. Recently, I've been trying to sing and then also write original material, and that's kind of going to be my goal for. I'm going to give myself at least a year to kind of write enough songs to put on an album. Yeah, but I feel like, and I'm sure everybody can relate to this a little bit, at a certain point, you're like, oh, I'm not getting better, and you plateau, and you're like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life and with the accordion, and how do I get better, and how do I grow? And yeah, and then learning just from other accordion players like you, Gabe, like you were saying, that you take lessons from multiple people all the time, and I think that that's just a really, really excellent way to get better, is to just keep learning. And when you go through a plateau, to instead of like avoid it and run away from it, to like really lean in and figure out an intention and set your intention and then go towards the intention.
Excellent. We are like slowly reaching the sort of timed end of our interview, but I want to ask some more questions, but I want to hear you play again some more too. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I think I'm gonna play an original. I think that's what's gonna happen. I haven't performed it. I haven't performed it in a while, so bear with me.
Excellent. Thanks for playing an original. I know that's like well, it can be difficult. It sounded great. Some more personal, like I guess, sort of musical questions. Not too personal, but what do you find to be the most challenging part of being a performer, either on the accordion or just in general?
I think right now it's just a challenge to change with what I'm doing and what I'm learning, and your relationship to the instrument is always going to be changing, and everything's always going to be different. And how to grow, like how to get better, how to play better, how to stay inspired, how to get inspired. I think that those are probably the most challenging parts of playing music in general for me.
Can you maybe highlight like a specific time when you felt like you might have been discouraged with learning or with creating, and kind of how you worked through that?
Yeah, there was just recently. I was playing with this clarinet player or saxophone player from Brazil, Daniela Spielman. She was up here teaching at the Choro Jazz Workshop at Centrum out in Port Townsend. And she had a lot of songs and a lot of notes and a lot of material that was just kind of impossible to learn in the amount of time that she had given me, on top of everything else that I had going on. So it was like, oh gosh, like being just overwhelmed in that moment, and just feeling like oh gosh, I feel underprepared. And the challenge was to go in and just be able to trust myself, and I've been playing music a really long time, and just like really let myself go into the music and play, do what I do. And I was able, the gigs went really good, and it was great, and playing with lovely musicians, so I was able to like overcome and surpass that. But yeah, I mean, some like stuff like that, it's you just are, sometimes you just feel like there's not enough hours in the day.
Just do the best you can, I suppose. What are some, I know you play a lot of multicultural music, regional music, and I know that you've also played like popular music and a variety of stuff. And this is another Brian Berlin question. What are some strategies for accordionists who want to incorporate popular music or regional music into their accordion repertoire? How do you personally go about learning that stuff?
Like solo or with a band, or I guess
let's say something like faho, like what was the strategies that you went about learning faho? Is it just listen to the records, or is it focus on a particular thing, or listen to the zabumba or whatever, Yeah,
so a lot of faho music isn't written down, and a lot of it is just like an oral tradition that you just listen to a record and you just figure out how to play it. And sometimes there's a lot of notes. So just being patient with yourself, but listening to the record over and over and over again, and learning how to play that. I also think that learning the different instruments in the band, so like even though I don't play zabumba, like I've played zabumba before. And I played triangle, and I've played piano on the tune. So kind of just like learning the music inside and out on different instruments, because forró specifically is about that. So kind of similarly with tango music, I like to dance to it. I'm not a good tango dancer by any means, but I've taken some lessons, and I've kind of learned how to do that a little bit, because a lot of these genres, forró too, are about the dance and the music. And so kind of learning the different aspects of the type of music that you're playing only makes you a better at that style and a better musician in general.
It's all about the dance.
It's all about the dance. It is all about the dance. That's actually how I started playing forró. There was a guy here in Seattle, and his name was Ben Gown. I bet some of you know him out there. But he used to host a forró once a month, and I used to go every time, and I learned how to dance it, and it was really, 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 really fun. And then he stopped doing them, and I took over and created a forró band so that I could do that for other people.
And dance on stage too.
And dance on stage.
I think there is another question that I just saw here in the chat. It's a very detailed question, but I think it's pertinent, and it would be interesting to hear your response. This is from Ashley Dillon. I just graduated from music school. Primary instrument was piano, but studied composition as well. What advice do you have for accordion composers specifically? Does the nature of the instrument ever feel limiting to you, and what do you do to overcome that?
So honestly, I don't think that the accordion is limiting at all. I actually feel the exact opposite. I feel like it's overwhelming possibilities. You can create bass lines, and you can play just chords. You can combine them both, and then you've got the melody on the right hand, or you can play the chords on the right hand. You can play the melody on the left hand. And more possibilities of that. You have all your different register switches, and so I think that composing on the accordion is challenging, and it's good to kind of, what kind of helps me, and I brought this up before, is kind of setting an intention and just saying, okay, and practice writing in different styles. Maybe one time you write just an instrumental tune, and then maybe you try writing a tune that has lyrics, and how that different makes you play the accordion different, right? So if you're singing a melody, you don't necessarily have to play the melody on the right hand, and you have more ability to kind of, more exploration to kind of accompany yourself that way. And then I always try, if I write instrumental music, try about thinking about getting outside of the box of, straight 4/4 or 3/3, and not necessarily in different time signatures, although that's fun too. But playing with, just chord combinations, like just using the chords on the left hand to make a melody, or how can you do things that are outside of the box that joke.
Oh, you gotta get so punny. The accordion puns.
Just challenging yourself to use the full range of the instrument, and instead of there's a lot of music that's written where it's like the sea shanty type of thing, and I just encourage people to there's so many other things that you can do with it, that how do you make it sound different, and set an intention and explore that. Say I'm gonna challenge myself to write a melody on the left hand, and what does that sound like?
That's cool. That's a unique perspective, I think, and very interesting. And we haven't even talked about the freebase thing, because if you're playing freebase, then there's all kinds of I think it's, at least for as a pianist, it probably makes a little bit more. It's probably more relatable to the piano. But even playing the freebase, it can be a little bit deceiving. Not everything that sounds good on the piano sounds good on the free bass too, just from the nature of the instrument. It's about that. It's getting to be about that time. I think we started at 4:05. It's 5:05. We could do this all day. Would you mind playing one out for us?
Sure. So this is a Sivuca tune. Tom Pra Jobim. It's probably one of my favorites.
Everybody's clapping. You can only hear me, but just imagine a bunch more of these.
Thanks, Kim.
Oh, thank you, Jamie. Thanks so much for playing and answering all these questions. And yeah, and this is and dealing with all the sound stuff. We're still learning. We're still learning a lot about how to conduct these online meetups. So thank you also to the members for being kind.
And thank you guys. This is it's really cool organization. It's a really cool thing to have everybody meet in the same place. I guess 2017 is really cool, huh?
That's right. We got to use the technology we got. We got to be riding on the rocket ship. So feel free to stick around. I'm going to go over just a few things, just some NAAC program details. If you want to hang out, we're going to be going for another 20 or so minutes, maybe even less than that. I don't have that much to say. Maybe Dallas has some things he wants to chime in with, but feel free to hang for a second if you'd like.
Okay.
And thanks again, Jamie. It's really a pleasure to have you. Can't wait till the next time. So I'm going to do a quick rundown for all of the members here. And I don't know if I need to turn everybody's video on or not. Dallas, do you have any opinion on that? You want me to turn the videos on?
Leave them off. Makes it simpler.
All right, cool. Let's just keep it easy. I got you, Brian. Bam. Okay. Here we go. Guys, we want to talk about a couple of programs, particularly the I have a summary on the outreach team meeting, outreach and education, I believe, although I'm not the committee chairs, but I understand that's what it is. This is Steve Albini and Adam Matlock's committee, along with Dallas's. I believe Dallas is the committee chair, and they have a statement that they've prepared that I'd like to read to you all. It says, Steve Albini, Adam Matlock, in considering our own ideas as well as some of the survey responses most applicable to our area, we came up with the following. At this stage, to focus the bulk of our effort toward YouTube as a platform that is accessible and can provide visual content. Focusing primarily on the curating of existing content, both on YouTube and Bandcamp, and resources of sheet music and technical discussion. So creating YouTube content videos for education specifically. We've already seen some of our member performance videos and stuff like that on the YouTube channel. If you haven't already checked that out, you're missing out. Also, you should be subscribing. I just want to do a little plug there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. The other, we talked about creating some playlists, or they talked about creating some playlists of educational content, and I think that would be excellent. This addresses in part the desires of NAAC members to have access to a body of performances representing an extremely diverse range of music at high levels of skill, as well as to have a master list of educational content that is a useful resource. We've talked a lot about wanting to have more educational resources out there for people in the NAAC, but also just the general accordion community. And I think this is a perfect opportunity as an outsider just looking in here. That seems really excellent. And then this is sort of their 0 to 6 month platform, is to start creating these, or I should say, I think this is to curate some of the videos and to start amassing videos that we think are beneficial. Their 6 to 12 month goal and beyond is more about creating original tutorial demonstration videos for the NAAC YouTube channel. So whether it be Dallas or Steve or Adam, to be creating our own stuff, which I think I'm really excited about. I think that we have a lot of resources that we need to utilize, players, performers, teachers that could really give a lot to our members. And we have here, by analyzing the content compiled, we can see where there are particular holes in what's available on the web. So to identify what's out there, and then to patch those holes up with our own content. And that's the gist of it. That's our summary there. I'd also like to share a few goals for the performance and YouTube committees, which I'm the chair member of, committee chair of. Right now, we currently have, I believe, 60 subscribers to our YouTube channel. I'd like to get that goal up to, I'd like to get that number up to 100. We have approximately 30 some videos, almost 40 videos in the next 6 months. I'd like to get that to 100. And I think we're at something about 4,000 views. I'd really like to get that to 10,000 views. And this is just in regards to the NAAC sponsored performances, membered videos, and gear resources. However, there's going to be a little bit of overlay, I believe, with the educational committee's stuff. And it just kind of expands upon there. 1 year, 15,000 views, I think would be a fantastic goal. 2 years, 30,000 views. I'm shooting for the moon. I think, why not? 200 subscribers within the year, 300 subscribers within 2 years, within 1 year, 200 videos, 2 years, 300 videos. And this is a large number. I think when I was first setting this goal, I was also imagining the education committee being a part of this goal. So I think between those things, we shouldn't have a problem getting these things, creating those things. In terms of the professional performances and on our performance committee, I'm sort of splitting this into two different categories. One being our member performance opportunities, and the other one being our professional performance opportunities. My 6 month goal is to be putting on 2 NAAC sponsored events featuring a professional accordionist or an professional band with an accordionist twice a year, which is a summer and spring festival or a sponsored event. So whether that's be getting somebody from Canada or Mexico or wherever and trying to create a really well put together concert event. And it's in similar keeping with the 1 and 2 year goals, just expanding those and having more, as well as curating musical festivals to promote bands with an accordionist or an accordion band or a band with an accordionist, similar for the 2 year. For our member performance opportunities, I think is the stuff that's most attractive to most of us right now. And that is, we'll be putting on and beginning the process of creating a biannual concert for NAAC members. This may be online unless we decide we want to have some kind of physical location. However, if we could I'm sorry, this is an online concert. I made the mistake. We are doing a biannual online concert for the NAAC members. I can't read my own notes. Twice a year. As well as creating NAAC member performances. I'd like to have 2 of those sponsored in Canada a year, 2 of those sponsored in the US a year, and I'd like to have 1 sponsored at least in Mexico a year. All right. And similar stuff for the 2-year. Just expanding on these, I think for the performance opportunities, we really need to focus on getting more. Why can I hear you, Jamie? I need to turn off Jamie's audio. It's like, okay, here we go. Okay, I muted Jamie. Sorry, Jamie. So there's somebody else's audio going on right now. I hear something. There it is. I got it. Bam. I think the focus right now for the performances, although we have a lot of people in US and we have some in Canada, I think we're really missing the boat on getting performances in Mexico. They are part of North America. We can't be ignoring these people, and they have a lot of music to contribute to this community. And that's more or less it. Dallas, do you have anything to add? Am I covering these things sufficiently? Where are you, buddy? I'm going to unmute you. There we go.
Okay, thanks, Gabe. Jamie, amazing interview, amazing presentation, performance. Thank you so much. Gabe, fantastic job as the interviewer. On behalf of everybody here in the chat, thanks. I do have one more thing to say, which is that was like a very Steve Jobs kind of one more thing. But it's this. Since I have some NAAC members on this chat now, I'll say I think we're going to look to add 1 or 2 general members to the fundraising committee. There are some amazing things going on right now that we're going to be talking about more as far as outreach and some things that are sort of still top secret, but are definitely going to make a splash. But in order to do those, in order to create bigger opportunities, unfortunately, we got to have the bread, as the musicians say. So coming up with money, writing grants, and all that kind of stuff. If you are out there on the chat and you happen to think that you may have some of those skills or interests or the ability to learn them, hit me up with a message. I'll put it in here. contact@the-NAAC.
Piggybacking on that, I think I would also like to also call if there are people out there who are interested in sort of setting up some more performance opportunities, especially within Canada and Mexico, and would like to be a part of that. I could totally use some more people on board, and that would be fantastic. So think about that. If you're trying to organize something in Mexico, which I think would be awesome, I would love to go. Let's go do it. Let's figure it out. So performance and fundraising opportunity people. Basically, I think in general, the things that Dallas and I talk about a lot is that we are trying to amass the people who want to who feel like they really have energy and want to give some more to this organization with their time. Does that sound on par to you, Dallas?
Takes this thing only works by the virtue of our energy. So NPR fund drive style.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Cool. That's all my plugs. That's all I need to say.
I'm good, guys. I think that this was a fantastic Sunday evening. Thank you guys so much for attending. For those of you, wherever you are, thanks for making the time to join us. Thanks again so much to our guest, Jamie Maschler. And I think I'm sorry, what? I couldn't hear you, Jamie.
Thanks for having me, and thanks everybody for coming.
Absolutely. Dallas, you have the chat copied. Are you able to get all that stuff out?
Yep. I will save the chat right now. It is
fantastic.
Cool. All right. So Jamie, can you plug how people, can they friend you on Facebook? Can they buy your CDs? Are they available on iTunes? Are you touring?
Oh, good call, Dallas. Good call.
Yeah, man. Jeez, I
You
dropped the
got
ball.
They dropped the ball. Yeah, so I have my website, which is just jamiemaschler.com, and I have all my gigs up there. I perform a lot. I'm going to be at the AAA coming up in July, and then I'm teaching a 2-week at a 2-week music festival up in Fairbanks, Alaska, and there's going to be an accordion class, a Brazilian class, and a tango class. With performances on the weekends. It's going to be really fun. Fairbanks, Alaska is my favorite place on the planet. If you can and you have the opportunity and can go to this festival, I hear that it's just really, really phenomenal. I have CDs available on my website under merch. You can purchase CDs there. What else? I think that's it. My website, if you want to, I have an accordion, Jamie Maschler accordionist. I think that's what it's on Facebook. If you want to give me a like, that would be awesome. And yeah, other than that, I think that's it.
Excellent, guys. I think that's all we have here. Unless anybody, Dallas, you good? You have anything to add, man?
Take it home.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining again, and keep your eyes and ears peeled for the next online meetup. Do we have a date for that, Dallas?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
I'm sure. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I did mean to say there will be we'll be reopening calls for submissions to the NAAC YouTube channel member performances section in August. So keep your eyes up for that because it's going to be right around the corner. Summer's going to fly by, and we're going to have all kinds of cool stuff going on. So thank you again, everybody. We will see you next time.